two different people. He pretends to be a nice guy, but he's not. He's an asshole. That's what he is. He pretends to be a nice guy, and oh yes, I'm just looking for the fam, happy, and then but in other place he talk a lot of shit. It is what it is. Just be a man and say what you say.
You talked also backstage about wanting to destroy him, wanting to finish his career.
Really
That's how you feel. You want to finish the career,
and I will do it for sure.
You believe you win this fight by knockout on September the 17th?
That's the only way I want to finish this fight.
No, what do you think about Crawford Spence, man? What do you think about that fight?
It's gonna be a really good fight, but I think Spence is a really good fighter, but I think Crawford is.
Do you think Crawford is going to come out southpaw on that one, or is he going to switch?
He can switch, yeah. I think he's better.
But you still think you kind of favor Spence to win that?
No, Crawford.
Crawford, you favor Crawford.
Okay. Welcome to another one of these videos. We're gonna go for another one of those summer walks of ours. Look at this beautiful day. God damn, it's like hot as a motherfucker out here. So what we're gonna talk about today, man? Listen, here's my thing, right? I was thinking about all the talk about Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I think a lot of people want to be optimistic about it, but I gotta be honest, I'm quite pessimistic about it. I'm pessimistic because of the attitude of the people involved. And I think most of it is coming from PBC. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I think they don't have a lot of faith. Not just PBC. I think it started with PBC and Bob Arum, all of them. And I think that the dirty secret, the open secret that a lot of people don't want to acknowledge, all right, is that what's being said here, what's been implied, I should say, but not being said explicitly, is that they themselves do not believe that black fights sell. They don't think so. That's why they're balking at the idea of paying all that money or whatever it's gonna cost, or maybe there's gonna be a rematch clause or whatever. Because let's keep it a buck. If they had a lot of faith in this fight, regardless of who gets the belts, the bottom line is this: they would adhere to the philosophy that boxing is a business. Okay, that's more or less what they'd be more concerned about. All right, that boxing is a business, and if they could do it twice, why not? If they could do it thrice, why not? We just saw something like that happen with Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. I mean, I don't like either one of those fighters. Let's keep it a buck. In as much as fans' satisfaction, I don't know how much money they really made, in all honesty, but they're not really complaining. But in terms of fan satisfaction, they won a lot of that. They got a lot of that from that. I mean, seriously, it is what it is. But what I'm trying to say is this: they don't have the same kind of faith, and this is more or less PBC. Listen, here's the thing: PBC is a disgrace, man. PBC represents black people, to be honest with you. PBC represents a black inferiority complex. Why do I say this? Let me tell you why. All right, PBC is a black-run organization, is it not? Okay, and then you got two black fighters, right? Remember when it was Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury? You can sort of understand, right, that the people who took control of that fight, of those fights eventually, okay, were ESPN and Bob Arum, the white people. The first one was supposed to be like, you know, kind of like one and done. It was sort of PBC with Showtime. You had Espinoza at the helm, so he took control. But when it becomes a sort of PBC affair, where PBC has to be in charge, they're lazy. They just want to like have a nice, convenient black versus Hispanic situation where they don't really have to go out there really totally to sort of promote in regards to the Hispanics, because they're gonna come out for their people anyway, and they want the black fighter, and they sort of talk him up, and that's about it. To the black people who are gonna listen, you know, whether it's an Errol Spence, whether it's a Tank. But when it's a black fighter, there's a black fighter, and there's no inbuilt audience that's just gonna show up for their crowd anyway, and they have to do the work. Then there's a problem. Have you noticed that? That's why it's taking so long for this fight, because they have to work. Because suddenly, you know, they've been put on the spot. They're gonna have to promote this fight. There's no Bob Arum. It's gonna be reliant upon these black people who supposedly are running the show at PBC to do some work. All right, you can't put it on the shoulders of Bob Arum anymore, because Terence Crawford's no longer with Bob Arum. In order to promote that fight, it's gonna fall squarely on the shoulders of PBC. That's why they didn't want to take on Devin Haney as well. You know what I'm saying? Because Devin Haney is another black fighter. You understand me? You know what I mean? And it would kind of like, they didn't want him to go over to they didn't want Tank to go over to Zone anyway. But let's say even if it was gonna be moved over onto a PBC platform, that's why they didn't want to pay the money, because they do not believe that they can sell black fighters. That's what they're implying. And you guys need to really get a grip of this. Stop getting angry, getting upset at what Eddie Hearn is saying. Eddie Hearn is saying what a lot of people kind of believe. In the sense like, yo, Triple G and Canelo and Triple G is bigger than Terence Crawford and Errol Spence. Or Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. And why is that? It's because, in all honesty, the people who are handling that fight, the latter fight I should say, okay, who haven't even been able to get it together, to get it off the starting line, all right, are more or less suggesting that they cannot do it, that they do not believe in this enterprise. They do not believe that it is financially feasible, or to be honest with you, that it will pay dividends. They kind of see it as a loss. I mean, that's more or less what Tim Smith said back in the day. That that a lot of the people who are calling for this fight, they're not going to buy it. He doesn't have a lot of faith in them. And you know, they got all up in arms. But you listen, they've probably looked at the data, they've looked at the fucking projections, and they kind of know, like, listen, if we pay all this money out, if we don't do this fight on the cheap, if we don't give our star a whole chunk of that money and then pay some shitty little money to the opponent in Terence Crawford, they're gonna lose money, because this isn't like Canelo Alvarez where you can dish out like 40 million and then you can pay the white boy like 10 million and everything's still gonna balance out. They don't, you know, they don't have faith like that in black fighters. So, you know, they could care less. And listen, I don't blame them, and I'm not mad at them. It is what it is. Fuck it, man. But I'm just saying this, right? Like, look, that's how I feel about it, and based upon that, I have a feeling that the fight's not gonna happen. I have a feeling that the fight's not gonna happen. It is what it is, man. A lot of people want to be optimistic about it. Yeah, it's gonna happen, man. It's gonna happen. Listen, when they start sort of filtering out, sort of dripping information, not filtering, dripping information out, like, oh, the fight's not happening because Terence Crawford, he wants this, he wants that, he's not signing the contract. Listen, they're looking for a way out, all right? If they don't, listen, you know what? It is equivalent to what they tried to do to Devin Haney. What PBC is doing right now is equivalent to what Lou DiBella and George Kambosos did with Devin Haney. All right, they're gonna try and make it as inconvenient as possible. But this is a different situation, you see. There's a different situation, but they're playing for time, hoping that it will become so difficult for Terence Crawford to take that fight without humiliating himself. You understand me? That he would just say, no, I'm not taking that fight. And they will say, you see, he's the one who scuppered the fight. We're gonna go off and fight. I don't know. I mean, if they were serious, why did they have Errol Spence lined up for Canelo? That there should be a red flag. That they never really wanted this shit to happen. Let's just keep it a buck, because it's about money, and they're not gonna let it happen. And you can say all you want. You can be as positive and optimistic as you want. I don't think it's gonna happen, bruh. And the sad thing about it is because we live in the era of post-truth, they're gonna suggest like, oh yeah, you know, it's Terence Crawford's fault. But you know, maybe I could care less, to be honest with you. You know, Golden State Warriors won the NBA. That's all that matters really. And you know, and some Italian kid is gonna from Duke University, Pablo. I can't remember his second name. He's gonna go over to where's he going again? I can't remember. He's the first draft pick. Anyway, man, that's about it. And we'll be looking forward to that. But aside from that, as much as boxing is concerned, forget about it, man. Forget about it. Anyway, see you guys later, yo. Going for another little walk. Take care and goodbye. Kind of remind me of the old days when I used to make these type of videos, doesn't it? You know what I'm saying? Those of you who probably watched me around 2015. Yeah, 2015, 2014, 2015. I used to love making these type of videos. It's good to be back.